Good morning, guys. Just grabbing some gloves from Scott's office so that I can go in the kitchen and get to canning. Intrigued? Well, then meet me in the kitchen.
So you're in a hurry? Well, you better calm down. We're all friends around you, just join the fun. 'Cause if you're in a hurry, you're missing the point. Should enjoy the fruits of life instead of chasing coins. Because it's a beautiful day.
Well, my neighbor blessed me with a giant bag of jalapenos. At least one of us had a good year for them. And just in time, too, because I have one little half pint of Cowboy Candy left. So today we're going to make some Cowboy Candy. This is a super easy canning recipe, and Cowboy Candy is actually a very delicious candied jalapeno that is amazing on burgers and hot dogs. I like putting it with cream cheese and put it on crackers, almost like a hot pepper jelly that you would put on top, but I do it with the Cowboy Candy. I love eating it straight on crackers. It's great on tacos. I literally could go on and on. So if you're not familiar with Cowboy Candy, then this is one you definitely want to add to your canning bucket list. You want to get this on your shelves because it's really, really, really delicious and really versatile. And I have to say, I don't even like jalapeno peppers. I don't like peppers. But I will eat this Cowboy Candy. I will eat a whole jar by myself, given the opportunity. That's how good it is. Super easy canning process, but there is one thing I want to stress very much about this. Well, two things actually. One, you definitely want to wear gloves. You do not want to handle sliced jalapenos with your bare hands and risk touching your eyes or your skin. Always wear gloves. It's just always better. And if you don't have gloves, you can throw baggies over your hands. Seriously, just don't touch the pepper. And two, this recipe uses a lot of sugar and liquid together, and it brings it to a boil in a very high temperature. And if you know anything about cooking with sugar, it is very sticky and it can burn you very badly. So you want to take all precautions while you are making this on your stovetop. Don't let it splash up, be gentle with it. Just take the precautions. I don't want to see any of you get hurt, trust me. You don't want to get a burn from making this. So that's pretty much it. Let's get this going. It's super easy. To start off with, I'm just going to cut the ends of the peppers off, and then I am going to remove some of the seeds from the insides of them. I do leave some seeds in the Cowboy Candy mixture itself, but I also remove some of the seeds. Now, I also have some unknown peppers that were given to me in this bag, and I don't know what their heat index is, so I'm definitely going to remove all of those seeds. If you make it too hot, it's not going to be pleasant. I mean, I like spicy, but let's not get silly here. Also, because we're canning this, if there are any bad spots on your peppers, you want to cut that off. No brown spots, no mold, no rot, no nothing. Remove all of that to make sure that you are canning a nice product. Once the peppers are done, we're going to process them in the food processor. I like it relish-like. You could do rings. All right, got my recipe and I am good to go. We are going to start by getting some sugar into our stock pot on the stove. A little apple cider vinegar. Now we'll add some garlic powder, some ground turmeric, a little cayenne peppers, and some celery seeds. We're going to bring this to a boil, then we're going to turn down the heat and simmer it for 5 minutes. Now, when that 5 minutes is up, we are going to add the jalapenos into our pot, and we are going to bring this back up to a boil and then reduce it back down again. We're going to cook that for another 5 minutes, and we're going to stir it occasionally. Next, just use a slotted spoon to drain off the majority of the liquid, and then put the jalapenos in your prepared jars. My jars aren't sterilized, they all have been washed. They actually have been sitting in hot water, which I just dumped out, so they'll be the same hot temperature as the contents. But fill them, leaving about an inch headspace. And if you're not sure what an inch is on these, it's basically the ring line that the ring screws onto. It makes a perfect 1 inch marker. Okay, I got 4 pints out of that little bit that I had to do. So what I'm now going to do is keep the candied liquid in this pot. We are now going to reheat that back up. And we're going to let it go for about 5 minutes at a boil. And then once that's done, we're going to add that into our jarred jalapeno. And then we'll be able to process them in the water bath. Have you ever had cowboy candy before? I love, love, love it. If you love cowboy candy, what do you put it on? Let me know in the comments down below how you use cowboy candy. I'd love to hear all different ways and get new ideas on how to use it up. I like to use any brine that's left over and I'll can it. I probably won't have any this particular one, but if I did, I would can that brine up, and I love adding that to like a roast in the oven. We waste nothing around here if we can help it. So I'm just gonna let this come to a boil. I'm gonna stir it. And when the 5 minutes is up, we're gonna ladle this into our jars and we will be ready to process them. I'm doing half pints, so we are gonna process these for 10 minutes. If I was doing full pints, we would go 15 in the water bath, but because these are only half pints, which is the size I actually like to can them up in, I find that opening up a pint of cowboy candy is too much, but opening up a half pint and keeping that in the fridge and keeping that going is perfect. So half pints, 10 minutes in a water bath, but first we have to wait for our liquid. The 5 minutes are up, and I am now just going to ladle this into my jars. I'm going to maintain that 1 inch headspace, and I am also going to debubble the jars. That's a big part of canning. You want to make sure there are no air bubbles left in there. So make sure you use the proper tool, go all the way around, release anything, and maintain the proper headspace. Again, that's 1 inch. Just adjust your liquid as needed and just do it to all your jars. Now, I also get a little bit excited because we had a little bit left over, so I was able to can up 2 quarter pints of this, which I'm super excited for because the quarter pint size I love to add to my rice in my Instapot. Combining that brine with chicken stock to create enough liquid that I need for the rice in the Instapot makes a flavor of rice that I just really cannot explain, but highly suggest you all give it a try because I think you're going to like it. It's another great use for that brine. I've got my water bath on the stove and I filled it with hot water. We're going to start everything off hot because our contents in our jar is hot. Remember, thermal breakage. Don't put hot into cold, cold into hot. Start the same. So I've got hot water added into here. I have my vinegar in here, and we're actually going to clean the rims. Now you want to clean the rims really super good on the cowboy candy because it does have that sugar syrup on there, and you want to make sure you get all of that off. You don't want to do anything to jeopardize the seal and ruin your product. So clean them off really good, and then we will get them going. Our water is boiling. We are going to get the lid on and We're gonna get our timer going. Remember, 10 minutes for half pints, 15 minutes for pints. I'll meet you guys back here. All right, guys, it's been 10 minutes. Be careful when you take that lid off. You'll burn yourself with the steam. Water looks crystal clear. I don't see any seepage in there at all. So, pretty. Ugh. I love me some cowboy candy. And we are not going to forget about our little ones that have all of that delicious brine in there. Well, I am surely excited. I have some more cowboy candy to add to my pantry shelves. Took no time at all to put this together. I got 4 half pints and 2 quarter pints of just the brine itself. Like I said, I like to use that for roast, whether it's pork roast, beef roast. It's great on chicken. It makes a wonderful gravy base. Lots of uses for that. So if you have any left over, I suggest saving it. I'm going to leave these out on the counter, wait for them to seal. In the morning, I'm going to take the rings off of them. Everything that's sealed will go down into my pantry after I label it. If anything hasn't sealed, I'll actually just toss that in the fridge and use it because we love cowboy candy around here. Now, by no means is this going to get me through the winter. It's not going to get me long at all, but it's more than I had before I started this project, and that's what canning is all about. Don't feel bad. If you only have a small canning like this, there's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to can up 36 quarts, you know, for it to be worth your while. This is worth my while. We're going to use this, we're going to love this, and this is more than I had before I started. And that's what preserving and canning is all about. You do what's right for you. We see all of this glorious canners all over YouTube that have the ability to can up so much, and that is what their realistic life looks like. But what looks right for them might not look right for us, and that's totally okay. This is okay. My small batch canning is totally fine, and it's totally fine for you. All right, guys, I am gonna make my notes in my journal. It's the same recipe I have always used, but as you know, I like to make note how much I got from it, how much I used, the processing time, things of that nature. And then once I open my jar and I taste it, I'm actually gonna go back and make more notes. So if there's anything different or something I like or don't like, I can always refer to my notes. Because this particular batch did contain a few peppers that weren't jalapeno. But there's nothing wrong. I added them right to this. It's going to be absolutely delicious. The only thing is I was very, very careful to remove all of the seeds from the peppers that weren't jalapenos because I'm not exactly sure what they are. I don't know what the heat index is for that particular pepper. So to be on the safe side, all of the seeds from the unidentified peppers came out. I did leave some of the jalapeno seeds in. You don't have to take them all out. That's entirely up to you. You also don't have to process it down into like a relish, if you will, like I do. A lot of people like to leave them just sliced, and there's nothing wrong with that. There is no right or wrong way to enjoy cowboy candy as long as you're enjoying cowboy candy. So, well, thank you guys for joining me in the kitchen as we kicked off my fall 2023 canning with some cowboy candy for our shelves. I love it. I hope you will give this a try if you haven't. You just have to trust me. If you don't know what cowboy candy is, you need to know what cowboy candy is. Also, if you haven't hit that subscribe button, I would love for you to do so now and join our little community over here. My name is Shawn, and I am just an ordinary housewife just like you, creating my best life one day at a time, and I just love spending time with you guys and sharing my life with you guys. Oh, did you hear that? We have a seal. I love that sound. Well, anyways, thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you guys again real soon. Bye.